Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the Serpentine belt on this 2006 Chevy Malibu with the 3.5 liter, same as any of this era Malibu with 3.5 liter. Tools you'll need are a flat blade screwdriver, 10 and 15 millimeter sockets with a ratchet, T25 Torx Driver, a 3/8 drive ratchet handle, and possibly a piece of pipe for some extra leverage.
Okay, you're going to want to remove your intake tube. Use a flat blade screwdriver. Loosen this clamp here. Okay, pull out this tube carefully. And 10 millimeter socket with a ratchet or a wrench. Remove this bolt here. And then over here, use a T25 Torx Driver and remove the two screws that hold the top of your airbox down. This out of place. Just pull your tube up and you can just kind of bring it underneath. You can see right here, there's a little tab. A safety tab, pull that out, then press this tab here, disconnect that, take your intake tube off. Okay, now we're going to remove two 10 millimeter bolts, one here and one back here.
Hit the fast forward button here as I just remove those two bolts, and those are 10 millimeter bolts.
Moving those two bolts now allows you to pull your airbox up. And out. Now we want a 3/8 drive, long ratchet. Okay, we're going to take the ratchet, and here's our tensioner. And down at the bottom of the tensioner is a 3/8 square hole. So I've got my ratchet down on there, and I've got a piece of pipe, gives me extra leverage. Okay, move that tensioner counterclockwise, takes tension off the belt, slip the belt right off of my idler pulley there. Let that come back nice and easy. We're going to remove these two 15 millimeter bolts.
And again, we'll just kind of hit fast forward a little bit as we're removing those two bolts.
Okay, I'll move this over. Just kind of move that bracket out of the way. Now before you take the belt off, here's the diagram right here. Just make sure you're familiar with what the diagram tells you as far as how it's routed, so that you can be sure to put it on correctly next time. So then we pull the belt off. Okay, pull it off the alternator up here. And then reach way down and pull it off the crank. And the belt comes out. Okay, so here we have our new belt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a loop, and I'm going to kind of put it way down underneath the crank, okay, and way down underneath the AC pulley, okay. And this loop comes up from the crank and goes onto this idler pulley, and then we can run this across to our tensioner. Okay, and then up to our alternator. Okay, it goes right here to this idler pulley here, down around the water pump and just make sure it's on the AC compressor. Okay, so now we're basically all routed with the exception of this idler pulley here. Just want to make sure that it's kind of down correctly in the grooves for all these pulleys. Looks like it's off one groove here on the AC pulley. Okay, now it looks good. Okay, reinstall. Put my wrench right down in. Okay, make sure it's secure. Pull it up as far as I can. And take my belt, put it right around that idler. Slowly let go of my wrench. Okay, and we should be all installed and looking good.
Okay, kind of speed up. Make sure you put that damper back on with the two 15mm bolts. Put those in and tighten them up nice and firm, probably about 35 to 40 foot-pounds.
Okay, now you're going to want to put your air box back in place. There's two round rubber nubs that go into two holes in the front here. Kind of tilt it down, get those to take place, and you just have to kind of move your AC lines out of the way a little bit. And make sure it pushes forward and down. The long bolt goes into the back.
And we'll speed it up here as we tighten up those bolts and get that airbox in place.
Bring our air duct back over. Plug in the sensor. Okay. And remember this little safety plug. Just want to turn it over, get that in place. Okay. Put our duct down. Make sure it goes onto the engine correctly. All the way. To hook up on your air filter side here, and make sure it's tilted way down. And then there's three kind of teeth that go in. Make sure it goes on correctly.
And we'll speed it up here as we put those two T25 Torx screws in place, and then the bolt for the air duct near the radiator.
Okay, then this, actually pull this rubber grommet off the hose, put it into the intake first, then push the hose down into it, and make sure we tighten up our intake clamp here.
We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.oneauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.